so that we can get the relative motion between these three gears and the main shaft. In the main shaft, there is another component, that is sliding dog, sliding dog or dog clutches, which is having internal gears. Internal gears. These two sliding dog clutches having internal gears. We can name it as dog clutch 1 D1 and dog clutch 2 D2 for identification purpose. These internal gears are provided to mesh with the splines in the main shaft. These dog clutches are having a tooth on its periphery. You can see here this dog clutch is having tooth on its periphery, and the same kind of tooth are mounted on the gears in the main shaft. So here you can see the dog clutches are having tooth, and the same kind of tooth are mounted on the gears which is mounted on the main shaft. Only the tooth on the periphery of the gears are mounted on the main shaft gears only. Okay. Gears in the main shaft can rotate even the main shaft is not rotating, as these gears are having bearings. You can understand that, right? So this main shaft is having that is the gears 8, 7 and 6. These three gears are having bearings, so that it is not required to run rotate these that means gears in the main shaft can rotate even the main shaft is not rotating. And the dog clutches rotate only when the main shaft rotates, because it is not having bearings. So if this dog clutch is having splines, internal splines, and the main shaft is having external splines, and these two splines are getting contact, so that the if the main shaft rotates, then only the dog clutch gets rotated, or if the dog clutch is rotated, the main shaft gets rotated, vice versa. The gears in the lay shaft is meshed with the gears in the main shaft. Note that all the gears are having different diameters. So gear number 8, gear number 7, gear number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the gears are having different diameters. Okay. Next we will discuss the different gear positions. So in the diagram, in the figure shown, we can see the neutral gear position. In the neutral gear position, the clutch shaft is getting rotated and the clutch gear gets rotated. If the clutch shaft is rotating, the clutch gear gets rotated, which is mounted on the clutch shaft. As the clutch gear rotate, the gear engaged with the clutch gear mounted on the lay shaft also rotate, that is gear number 2. Rest of the gears, that is 3, 4 and 5 mounted on the lay shaft also get rotated, but the gears engaged with these three gears, that is gear number 8, gear number 7 and gear number 6, even though it is getting engaged, these three gears will not rotate, because these three gears are mounted on the bearings, so that it rotates independently. Okay, so the power will not be transmitted to the output shaft. Even though the clutch gear or clutch shaft is getting rotated and all the gears are getting engaged with these gears, but the power will not be transmitted to the output shaft, as the gear number 8, 7 and 6 are rotating independently. Next one is first gear. In the first gear position, the dog clutch 1, that is this is the dog clutch 1, has to be moved to the left side, so that the teeth mounted on the dog clutch mesh with the teeth mounted on the low gear. The engagement of the low gear teeth and the dog clutch 1 teeth, D1 teeth, made the dog clutch 1 to rotate, so that the splined shaft also get rotated and the useful work is obtained. So if the clutch gear 1 rotates, it will engaged, it is engaged with the gear number 2, so it will rotate. So the gear number 2 is engaged with the lay shaft, so it will rotate. So the power will be transmitted from 1, 2 and 3, 7, right? So 7 D1, so that the main shaft will get rotated. If the power is transmitted from the smaller gear to the bigger gear, then there will be a reduction in speed. So gear number 3 is smaller and gear number 7 is bigger. So the reduction in speed will occur. The reduced speed of rotation of the low gear is transmitted to the dog clutch 1, and the same speed will be given to the main shaft. Okay. Next one is second gear position. In the second gear position, the position of the dog clutch 1 has to be retained. The position of the dog clutch 1 has to be retained to its original position, and the dog clutch 1 has dog clutch 2 has to be moved to the right side. So this is dog clutch 1 and this is dog clutch 2. This dog clutch 2 has to be moved to the right side. So rest of the things are same. So the power will be transmitted from gear 1 to gear 2, gear 2 to gear 3, gear 3 to gear 8, gear 8 to D2, D2 to main shaft, right? So this is second gear, and the next one is third gear. Here the dog clutch D1 is made to engage with the clutch gear. The dog clutch D2 is made to engage with clutch gear. This is the top gear actually. So that the speed of the rotation of the clutch gear and the speed of the rotation of the dog clutch 2, that is dog clutch 2, the spline shaft will be the same. So both the clutch gear speed and the dog clutch 2 speed both will be same, so that the same speed of rotation of the dog clutch 2 will be transmitted to the output shaft. So whatever the speed you obtained in the clutch shaft, clutch gear, it will be transferred to the main shaft. The speed will be same. So this is the top gear. And finally reverse gear. So now the dog clutch 1 will be moved to engage with the reverse gear, that is gear number 6, so that the power will be transmitted like this. So the power will be transmitted like this, from 1 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to idler gear to 6. This will rotate in clockwise, this will rotate in anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise and anti-clockwise, so that the reverse gear will be obtained. So this is the working principle of constant mesh gearbox. This question will be asked most probably in 13 mark in Anna University examination, and there is no chance to split up this question. So you have to draw all the gear positions. So for this one has to be drawn. This is the neutral gear position, first gear, second gear, third gear, and finally reverse gear. You have to draw the entire position and you have to write about all the gear positions, 3 to 4 lines, right? So this will be asked in 13 mark question in Anna University examinations. Prepare well. Thank you.